From the day, it was drugs, it was alcohol, it was perfectionism. And then one day, somebody said, do it again. All right, welcome. It's a Monday. It's Recovery Monday. And we appreciate you being here on The View from a Pew. This program brought to you by Powell CDC, an in- and outpatient program offered to you by Unity Point Medical Services. And if you are someone who's living with life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups, specifically drugs, alcohol, food addiction, anything like that, please reach out. And one of the safe places you can reach out to is Powell. They have great inpatient services, detox programs, and also wonderful long-term care outpatient services. And Lila Stafford is my co-host on this show. And you're kind of the head banana when it comes to those outpatient programs, right? Or the long-term.
Aftercare.
Aftercare.
Yes.
Why did I say long? Makes me sound like I'm in an old folks home. Aftercare. And Bob Montserrat is the cat in the hat. He's our co-host also today. And Bob is one of the world's foremost experts on alcohol and drugs. He works for the state of Iowa in the DCI lab and travels all over the world, not protesting.
Yeah, I don't protest.
No, you give testimony.
Yeah.
In cases, in trials about the impact that drugs and alcohol have on people. And so we're glad to be here. Ryan's producing. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and our guest today is Greg. Greg, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Nice to have you here. You have a nice tan. Have you been skiing, or you just love tanning booths, or?
I spent some time in Arizona over the holidays, and I tan in my gym on occasion.
Good.
So,
All right,
yeah.
good for you. And you're in the construction business here. And are you from Central Iowa?
Yeah, I was born and raised and went to college down in Indianola,
Okay.
Simpson College.
So you're a graduate of Indianola High and then Simpson College.
Yes.
And brothers or sisters, siblings?
I have one sibling. She's 7 years older than me.
Does she also suffer from the disease of alcoholism?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
No.
And mom and dad, was it a nice home growing up in?
Yeah, it was a very nice, structured home. You know, grades or good grades, church, and sports were always very,
Essential.
very essential. Yeah.
Okay. Any alcoholism in parents or grandparents?
I wouldn't say alcoholism. They like to drink on occasion, get-togethers, family reunions,
Sure.
and
Yeah, but that's not alcoholism.
no, my father was a drywaller his whole life, so sometimes after work he'd have a few beers with his workers, but no problems. Didn't cause any controversy within our family.
So when did you start drinking alcohol? You remember your first sip?
My first sip was probably at a very young age at a family get-together, but I didn't like it. It just wasn't very good, and then
Nobody likes it at the beginning, and that's what kills me. It's like, then why do you keep doing it? Just
Yeah.
I had that conversation the other day with somebody.
I didn't like it in the beginning.
No, I didn't either. It's like, no, I gotta like this. I gotta like it.
That's terrible.
So from then on, I swore it off until I think I was 17. Yeah, my junior year in high schools after state wrestling, and we had a big prom, and all the cool kids, the kids that I wanted to be with, you know, and I was pretty good in sports. Well, they invited me to a big party after prom, and I started drinking from the keg glass, and I couldn't put it down, and I woke up, and I didn't feel very good, but I realized, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to feel good and drink, and this is what got me cool.
Wow. Isn't that the truth in so many cases?
Yeah.
And so your drinking career went how long? 17 to
31.
31. All right.
Yeah.
So you had a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year drinking career.
Mm-hmm.
And in that drinking career, how did you discover that you were powerless over alcohol?
Well, it was fun for a long time. I joined a fraternity at college, and we all got together and drank and had a lot of fun and did stupid stuff. But I was the one who would do stupid things like drink and drive and run around the town square and get in trouble. Like I racked up a few OWIs.
A few?
2, yes.
Wow.
early on, and public intox, and I just thought.
Were you
know,
scared by that at all?
Yeah, I was very, very scared for a while, but if I couldn't drive, I had to find somewhere else to drink or somebody to drive me because that's what I wanted to do at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was powerless for a long time. I just, I knew it wasn't a good thing, but it's the only solution I had at that time. I didn't know of anything else to do.
Well, also in a fraternity, everyone's doing it.
Of course.
Everyone's
Yeah.
drinking, so you want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Now, did you suffer the consequences of the second OWI by losing your license for a year?
Yes, I did.
And how'd you do that? Did you drive anyway?
No, I didn't. I just lost it for a year, and I did get a work permit, I believe, after 6 months. Yeah.
I remember that when I lost my driver's license the second time, and I think this was one of the times, you know, they always say that people in the public light get special treatment. I think this was the time that it worked the opposite against me because my attorney, who was very good, said, Mac, this judge knows who you are, and you're not getting a work permit. You are going 1 year, and you are not driving.
Whoa.
And do not, under any circumstances, get caught driving. And that scared me because I don't need to be that on that radar.
How'd you get to work?
I hired a guy.
Really?
I hired a guy, and he was on duty 7 days a week. And most of the time, most usually, I never bothered him after like 1 or 2 o'clock on Saturday, all the way until Monday morning. But otherwise, he was at my home at 7:45 every morning, picked me up for work, and then as soon as I got done working for the day, he would bring me home, and if we had to run errands, and I bought him a car, and I told him that after the year was up, the car was his, and we bought, I don't remember what it was, but he just loved it, a little silver thing, and automatic or a manual transmission. I paid for all his gas, and he was my angel. I mean, he really, I don't think he ever complained, not once. But
I wouldn't
here's-
either. Someone gives me a car.
But here's what was interesting. Now, this young man, now I got to be careful. Well, I probably already identified it. But anyway, he worked for me for a very long time. And he would pick me up in the morning, 7:45 in the morning, and he'd have his quote-unquote red cup. And you know what was in that red cup? Beer. And I never realized it until about 3 months into it. I thought, you know, I smell beer in here. And he says, well, it's the red cup. And I said, what do you mean it's the red cup? And he said, well, that's what's in my cup. Every day? Yeah, this guy, every day.
Whoa.
Every day. But so anyway, there was no way I was going to drive. And you probably felt the same way. I thought it was just idiotic for anybody out there with a second OWI to be driving under that suspension because the consequence was what, 6 years?
Yeah, it was 6 years, or you could go to prison if I can remember correctly.
Yeah. You'd lose your license for 6 years. And
I didn't know that, and I know people that do it.
Yep, 6 years. You get caught driving with a second OWI. Forget drunk. I think if you're drunk, then you go to jail and they never let you out. But just driving down the street in the morning, 6 years, and you'll go to prison. And I could be wrong, Greg, but I thought it was not an or. I thought it was an and. I thought it was like 6 months in prison and then 6 years no license.
Could be. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And one of the interesting things, and maybe you felt this way too, you know, here I am, I'm 40 years old, and I've been drinking for 6 years, and I've already had 2 OWIs. I didn't start drinking until I was 34. But I've never felt the loss of freedom before until then.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I
Remember
totally
that?
relate. Yes.
Yeah. It was like I'm not a full person anymore. I can't get in my car. I can't drive where I want to go. You know, if something happened to one of my kids, there's no way I was going to try to plead innocent in front of a judge later that I had to go pick up my son or my daughter.
I think that's how older people feel when they can't pass their test anymore.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was very miserable.
Yeah.
My drinking really increased rapidly when I couldn't drive.
Yeah.
I did. I'd sit around and I'd just want to drink because I wanted to feel better than feeling miserable by myself. At least
Now, were
booze
you in a
would-
fraternity at the time when you lost it, or was this
Yeah.
after college?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could
I've
run
lost it
rides
4
from
times actually.
Really?
Yes.
How did you lose it the other 3?
OWIs.
So how many have you had altogether?
I've been charged with 4. I got convicted. convicted of 4 and charged with 3.
And you haven't been to jail, or have you?
No, I've never been to prison.
Whoa.
The third one, I went to grad school in Arizona State, and I wasn't really going to class. I was doing other extracurricular activities, and that one didn't carry over in their intrastate law or whatever, where I got off of that one as a 1, you know, and then I lost it for 6 months there. Then I moved back after that, and then I got another one in 2006 here.
At
And that
any
was still a
time when you
third.
got those, did you ever think you had a problem, or were you just making up excuses? Or
The last 2, I thought I probably had a problem, but I could still find a better way to deal with it. Any way to drink, you know. I wanted to try, manipulate, lie, do whatever I could just to feel better.
So you were drinking socially with big groups of people, or did you drink by yourself?
Towards the end, myself and
Yeah.
a few select individuals.
Yeah.
I burned a lot of bridges over those years,
Yeah.
and you know how it goes. So.
Yeah.
I have always been amazed at my level of denial. I never connected to OWIs that I might have an alcohol problem. I never connected it. And if somebody said it to me, I don't remember. So therefore, I must have just thrown it over my head, because I didn't recognize I had an alcohol problem until one day I was sitting with my therapist discussing things other than alcoholism, and I said to him, that sounds like something an alcoholic would do, or something like that. I don't remember what I said. It's not important. And Phil said to me, well, you realize you're a functioning alcoholic. I'll never forget that moment, because this guy knew. I mean, he was the bomb. I don't argue with therapists that I believe in. And he says, you realize you're a functioning alcoholic. And I went, oh, my God, I am? And then he unpacks it for me. And as he unpacks it, it's like the scales just fell off my eyes. Mm-hmm. You know, well, Mac, you do this, 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 right? Yeah, because he knew me. So
when did you first start thinking that you were an alcoholic?
When I was sentenced, or my family had me committed to one of 3 treatment centers. I went to 3 different treatment centers after that last OWI, when I couldn't drive and nobody really wanted me around. And I couldn't hold a job, and I knew something was wrong. I accepted that, but I still tried to manage things on my own terms. I didn't have any type of a spiritual program or anything like that. It was just all my own thinking.
Willpower.
Yeah, and that didn't go very far.
Yeah.
You know, end up in hospitals and deathly illnesses. And
yeah, because the I want to talk about more in depth like this, but the thing that made you finally put the plug in the jug was you basically died, or was so very close to it that none of us can probably relate.
Exactly, yes.
You were life flighted with pancreatic,
Chronic pancreatitis. My pancreas was so inflamed, and I had liquid pneumonia in my lungs at the time. And I knew I had pancreatitis. I've been in the hospital a few times, you know, and the doctors told me, you know, if you keep drinking, you'll die. But I didn't listen. I just wanted to drink. And that time when I actually flatlined and woke up 6 or 7 days later in the ICUs, when a light came on and I saw my family and friends' face, you know, I need to do something different.
And have you drank since that moment?
No.
Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. It's just something.
How long ago was that?
October 6, 2011. It was a
Great.
few days before that, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It is wherever it comes from, whether it comes from your higher power or within, or the love you have for your mother, or whatever it is, when you feel that, that you know you got a choice. And if you take the other road, you're dead.
Yep.
You're dead. You've chosen death.
When I don't speak about this very often, but when I was still in the ICU and I was coming to, I had kind of a vision or a dream that a guardian angel, I always thought my grandmother was close after she died, that I saw her hand come and scoop me up, and I saw some light and I woke up.
I want to hear about that. I want to hear about that. Our guest today is Greg, and he is a wonderfully happy son of a risen king, and he is now sober for, 2 years, 3 years, 2 years and a half. We'll talk more to him coming up now on Powell CDC.
mother who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places, especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart, and it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. "21 minutes after the hour, and this is Recovery Monday. And what is this? Well, this is a radio program, and it's a webcast program. So if you're listening on 99.3 or on an audio podcast, we appreciate it. But we also have pictures. We call this Passionate Radio with Pictures. Why do we have pictures? Because we are extremely transparent. Believe me, this is not a face you want for television. We do this because of the transparency. We want you, to know that the life stories that we're sharing with you here are real. And we're real people, not hiding behind anything. Now, there are some we bring on that need that anonymity because of their family and their work and their things like that. And we totally respect that. But those of us that have been faced with the fact that we need to be sober and we need to do it publicly because my higher power, which I call Jesus, says, I'm going to bring people alongside you, Mac, who normally wouldn't confess that they have issues with drugs or alcohol or that they have issues with habits, hurts, and hang-ups. I'm going to bring them alongside you because they know who you are. From afar, they know who you are. From afar, people may know who Greg is. From afar, people know who Bob is and Lila. And we do this not just for the addict or the alcoholic, but we also do it for you, the mother, the father, the spouse, the sister, the brother, the person who you go to church with. Maybe it's your pastor. Maybe it's the choir director. Maybe it's the guy in the cubicle next to you. Or maybe it's that sibling that you've always worried about. What we're telling you today are ways for you to recognize the disease of alcoholism and the need to have a greater power and the need to get healthy and what life is like after you surrender and accept. Now, I don't know about you, Greg, but you're a guy, I'm a guy. When we were growing up, we were taught you didn't surrender. You were a wrestler. You didn't surrender, right?
No, that wasn't allowed.
Yeah, Cowboys and Indians, football. You didn't. You played till the last second. The last shot was still when the buzzer was past 1 second down, but there was still time while the ball would fly. And yet, when you come to this program, what do we have to do?
We have to surrender.
Yeah. And how did you struggle with that surrender?
Well, my way of thinking, my thoughts and my actions, my whole life was what I lived by. I didn't like authority or other people telling me what to do, but this was kind of where I ended up, and I was desperate enough to listen to a few people and do what they told me to do, and it's just some simple, easy steps and a way of living, a design of living that works, and it was a lot softer than what I used to do. Okay. I just had to set aside those old ideas and learn something new, accept them.
But you surrendered before that.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling us about a spiritual experience or a spiritual awakening. You can classify it as you want. We had to go to break real quick. Tell us about it again, please.
Okay. I started to drink one night in my place in Indianola. And I couldn't stop, and I had pancreatitis, and I knew every time I drank, when my pancreas was inflamed, I'd end up in the hospital. But something bad happened that night, and I just drank really, really rapidly, and I woke up in the ICU at Mercy Hospital days later, and the doctor told me that I flatlined or something like that for a few minutes, and that I died, and they brought me back miraculously. It doesn't happen very often. And my family and friends came in, and right before that, I had no sense of time or direction. But sometime before I was awake, I was in kind of like a tunnel vision. I don't have dreams like that, but I was very close with my grandmother when I was younger, and she taught me a lot of things, and I always loved her. And she told me she would always be with me right before she died. And I've always felt a closeness. I didn't know what it was when I was younger after she passed, but before I woke up, I heard a voice, and it was hers, and it was her hand that I saw pulling me up. And I believe she's with me today. She watches over me.
Was she pulling you up from death? Was she pulling you up to heaven? Or was she just sending the message, I'm going to lift you up, I'm going to make you well, and you're going to carry on?
I believe that was it. I didn't see any fiery fires or any bright lights. I just saw a little hand, and I heard her voice. I think I was just in a really hard spot is how I can take it. Like I wasn't going to go anywhere unless I took some action and went like that.
That was that. Now, we'll never know this, but do you think that was the moment that you were being flatlined?
I believe so, probably. But I don't know exactly when it happened or when I woke up, but it was sometime then. It was like 3 or 4 days before I woke up.
So you wake up, and the first thing you see are people?
I saw a doctor and a nurse.
Okay. And had they brought you out of the coma, or were you coming out yourself?
I was coming out myself.
Okay. And who was in the room?
Well, there was a TV monitor, some lady talking to me, and then a nurse and a doctor came in, and then my mom, my cousin, and some other friends from the past were outside, and they all came in after the doctor explained to me what happened.
Okay. And the thing you remember first about after the doctor told you, is that when you recalled the dream?
Yeah.
And what was the thought in your head?
I can't believe I'm alive.
Okay.
Something happened. I need to do something different, because I'm looking around the room and I see these people's faces that I just mentioned, my mom and my cousin and some friends, and they all were just faces full of tears, and I didn't ever see that before, and I'm sure they were crying and miserable and just didn't know how to help me from trying so many years. But this time I actually noticed that, and I'm like, am I actually doing this to these people? I never thought that I would cause this much harm, and
So did they know that you had flatlined?
Mm-hmm.
Hard.
So, Gregory, did you have a spiritual awakening at that point, or did it come later as you studied through the program?
It's hard to say, but I was pretty ready to do something different.
Yeah.
Right then, I felt different inside. I felt at ease.
Had you ever considered suicide?
I have, but I've never tried
Okay.
it.
So that was what? October what?
Oh,
I mean, you have October 6th listed as your sobriety date. Is this 7 days after because you were in a coma? Or what is the sobriety date?
the last time I drank was the 5th,
Okay. And you came out of the coma when?
like the 8th or 9th.
Okay. And so what's your life been like since then?
It's been a lot better. No complaints.
Are you re-energized?
I'm healthy today.
Yeah.
Spiritually, emotionally, physically.
Do you ever have the desire to drink, or has that been completely lifted?
That's been completely lifted.
Now, let's talk about that for a minute, because, Lila, people say that I've had the desire to drink completely lifted from me. How does that happen? How does somebody who's an alcoholic, who can't stop drinking, all of a sudden one day say, wow, I don't have that urge anymore?
Most people accredit it to a power bigger than themselves.
Okay. Because I can't tell you that I've had the power lifted. I don't ever think about it unless I go to what we call Playmates and Playgrounds, and then it urges. Then it sneaks up. We had some good friends over for New Year's Day, which was not really a New Year's Day. It was for the Nebraska game. I'm one of those. And these are people that I spent a lot of time with, but never drank with before. They never knew me as a drinker, in fact. And the guy brews home beer, and he starts getting out home beer. And Lila, that's one of the first times in a long time I thought, couldn't I just want to taste the home beer, I just want to taste the home beer. And then, I learned what I learned from you and so many people. I played the movie forward.
Yeah.
And 10 days later, I'd be drunk, drinking a half a liter of gin every day. And it would all be because I didn't have the willpower to remember what my life was like. When I submitted to that, I can just have one. Or I'm not really that big of a problem. But it's so awesome that you have found that that urge to drink has been lifted, especially when, in my words, not yours, you couldn't stop drinking before. There wasn't a time. There wasn't anything. You didn't wait for Miller time.
No.
You woke up, you drank. You got sober, you drank.
Yep.
And did you lose anything of value to you during that time because of your drinking?
Yeah, I lost a lot of good relationships with friends and family. Certain large job opportunities I blew out of the water because I was drunk and couldn't maintain. I didn't own a house or anything like that, but
Had
everything.
lost a marriage.
No.
No.
Just seems like I'd get sober for a while on my own will, matter of days or months. Then I'd go off out of the country or the state and try a new job venture or grad school or something. But within no time at all, I'd be drinking, and then it'd just go downhill. Then I'd end up back in Iowa.
And can you in any way, shape, or form go back to the moments or the hours, not days, moments or hours before you failed, before you relapsed, before you went out and did more research? What was
Right.
your brain thinking? Was it thirsty for alcohol, or did you just think, I'm okay, I can drink?
It depends. Let's say I haven't drank, or I didn't drink for a week, okay? Or maybe 2 weeks. I'd be doing okay. I'd want to treat myself. I think it'd be okay to drink, okay? Sometimes when something bad happened too, or something good or bad, or just anything that set me off of my own willpower to stay on this sober plane, whatever that may be, I wouldn't think about the last time I drank and something bad happened, there's like a memory lapse there. I don't remember that blank spot, and I just say, hey, I want to feel better than I do right now. I don't care. I'm going to go drink. So
I also think it's a lack of skills, some skills. What did you know when you really want to drink? What do? I mean,
find a way.
Yeah, you just for people that keep drinking, it's because they can't. They don't have any skills to stop. Mm-hmm. It's just I want to drink, so I'm going to go do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have the skill. You're right. You're exactly right. You don't have the skills to burrow, walk through what is becoming a resentment, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the pain that someone else is causing you, or at least you think they're causing it, and therefore it's easier just to.
The worst part is
sitting,
having those thoughts and letting it sit in your head, and then you're mulling around and you're not wanting to, but it's there. Instead of just saying, "I can't have that now." What?
Yeah.
And moving on.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take our next break. Bob, when we come back, I want you to give us a little bit of the biological part of this. You don't know Greg's personal medical history, but you said you had pancreatitis.
Pancreatitis.
Okay, and obviously all the other things that his 30-year-old body was probably going through that eventually put him into a coma. Because you didn't have a car accident, right? No. You just passed out and didn't wake up for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that when we come back. It's Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC, part of Unity Point Medical Services. For heaven's sakes, if you know someone who has a hurt, habit, or hang-up, might be alcohol, might be drugs, might be food, might be depression, please get them to Powell CDC and they'll get the help they need now, today, live from Powell CDC.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager.
I'm the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? You can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
fixed rider, it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.
22 before the top of the hour, live on this Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC. Salem Radio Network news at the top of the hour, and then Pastor Michael Mudloff from True Blue. I hope those of us taking the time to listen today, either on podcast or live, recognize just how hard it is to quit drinking. You know, there is that stage, and Greg and I talked about it, and Lila would share, when she shares her story, we hear about it, where you don't think drinking's an issue. I mean, it's just, you know, I remember the first time somebody told me step one, your life is unmanageable and you are powerless over alcohol. Heck yes, that was the idea. It wasn't the drinking part I liked, it was the being drunk part I liked. So that didn't impact me at all. But Bob, it's those early times that we are so unaware of what alcohol is doing to us beyond just changing our attitudes and our dispositions. What is alcohol doing to the body when it starts to enter it?
Well, alcohol is very toxic to the body, and that's why the liver many times is destroyed. When a person drinks a great amount of alcohol, the liver is there to detoxify the body. So when alcohol is consumed in heavy amounts, it really overtaxes the liver, and which it can lead to cirrhosis. But also pancreatitis is another way that the body reacts to large amounts of alcohol being consumed.
Okay, what is the pancreas? What's its job?
Well, it's an organ that regulates different functions within the body, vital functions within the body, and if it's inflamed, then it knocks everything off. So you could develop cancer from that. Wow. Inflammation within your body can cause all various kinds of diseases, and inflammation of the pancreas can cause pancreatic cancer, which my father had, by the way, because he was an alcoholic. And he developed pancreatic cancer, which spread to his liver, and that's what ultimately killed him when he was 62, which is almost my age. And so it's very deadly to the body. And so the other thing about when you're consuming alcohol, you're not taking the nutrition that you need to keep your body. If you're taking anti-inflammatories, like you're taking vitamins and minerals and so forth, then you're not going to have these kind of problems. But when you're drinking alcoholic, you just live for the alcohol. You're living for that, and you don't take care of your body. Did you see that when you were drinking?
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So are there, for people out there who are drinking, and I don't know whether they're alcoholic or not, but they're consuming alcohol, wine, spirits, whatever, what are foods or vitamins or things that people need to do to feed extra nutrients to those organs in the body?
Well, first of all, if you're without even drinking large amounts of alcohol, you should be feeding your body what it needs. When you think about the foods that we have out there, we have a great deal of processed foods, and processed foods are usually dead foods. Okay. And when you're eating them, you're eating death, bulk, nothing. And then they're also fortified with all kinds of chemicals, preservatives and artificial flavors and colors and all these kind of things, which does nothing for your body. So, and a lot of times when you're eating food out of the earth, that food is depleted of nutrients because we keep taking food and growing it, and there's nothing that goes back into the soil other than a few of the, nitrogen, phosphorus, so forth, to make plants grow. So we're really depleting ourselves of a lot of what we need. So what do you need to do? Well, what you can do is there's plenty of vitamins, herbs, minerals that are out there that you can buy. We need to really educate ourselves on what we need.
You told me once that a can of V8, low sodium, every day would make a drastic difference in one's health.
It would help you for blood pressure, for one thing, because it has a lot of potassium salt in it. You need a lot of potassium salt, which regulates your heart, so it prevents the tachycardia, which is the rapid beating of your heart. It also, helps your heart to beat in a normal fashion, and it also helps to lower your blood pressure. If you take a large or a medium-sized banana, you're going to get about 400 milligrams of potassium. If you take like 10 ounces of V8 low sodium, I'm not trying to advertise that.
No, I know.
But it's going to be about 1,000 milligrams of potassium. So we have a ratio of sodium to potassium that's out of order. The ratio should be, 3 times more potassium to sodium. So therefore, we're getting any kind of processed food is loaded with salt and sodium. So we're getting too much sodium. We need sodium, but not the amounts that we're taking.
Right.
So we have to balance that out with potassium. That's only one aspect. Many people are deficient in magnesium.
What
Most
happens
people,
when you're deficient in magnesium?
well, you can develop or kidney stones, which is a big one.
I've had that.
Your muscle, a lot of muscle aches, recovering from
Yes.
exercising. That's a lack of magnesium. It also regulates your heart muscle. So 75-80% of the people out there are deficient in magnesium. So I take it every day. I take magnesium citrate, which is a good form to absorb. Also
Can you
vitamin
get too
D.
much of it?
Oh, it's possible, and then you might get diarrhea.
Oh, I wouldn't care.
But that's the worst.
Yeah.
What was the one somebody years ago? Somebody told me something root. It's a natural. You get it at like GNC. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I'll think about it later and ask you about it. I don't want to say.
Yeah. Also, most people are deficient in vitamin D, which is a sunshine vitamin.
Yeah.
And we get no sun here because we're all clothed in this kind of 15 below zero weather this morning. And so, what I have to do and what I do is I supplement with vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential. And so far this year, I haven't been sick at all. And everybody around me has been sick. So
And you've been that way for a long time, though.
long time.
Yeah.
Can you get too much D as well?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
But you should get your levels checked, which you can. And there's a
I
range where
have,
you
and
should
I'm
be.
low.
Take vitamin D. So anyway, what I'm saying is I'm not trying to get away from it, but alcohol has a problem where most people that are on that will not take care of their health. And so therefore, the inflammation within the body is really great. And even if you don't get pancreatitis, you're slowly killing yourself. Because inflammation is what causes the heart disease, which causes cancer, which causes most of the diseases that are out there. So that's a byproduct of being an alcoholic, is that you're not taking care of your body at all because you're not even thinking about it.
Now, I quit drinking and I gained 45 pounds. And people say, well, you substituted for something else. But I didn't. I mean, I really didn't. I still drink 60 ounces of water a day. I don't eat ice cream. I don't eat candy bars. I don't eat potato chips.
Well, if you're drinking alcohol, you really don't have much of an appetite. Because that's substituting your desire to eat anything.
That's right. I never thought about it. I didn't eat much.
I never ate.
Yeah.
No. All you do is drink. And I don't have personal experience other than I watched my father. He never ate. And he got skinnier and skinnier and skinnier, and then he died young because he had nothing to protect him from all of the inflammation that was happening within his body due to alcohol.
Now, see, I lost weight when I quit because when I drank, I would eat a bunch, like pot smokers. Come home the next morning I was really hungry.
Yeah.
So I would overeat.
Well, the best answer here is just don't drink alcohol, right?
Well, moderation is the key.
But is moderation good for you,
Okay,
though?
the three alcoholics here are laughing because none of us know.
Yeah, there's
that
no
means.
such thing as moderation.
I'm just talking about for non-alcoholics. It would have to be moderation. For instance, occasionally I might have a glass of wine, but believe me, I am a non-drinker.
Yeah.
But so it's one of those things. But for you guys, you can't even moderate.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I heard something a long time ago, and I've always said it to be true. When somebody walks up to you and says, well, how do you know if you're an alcoholic? And there is no right answer. But one of the ones I like was, that feeling you get 2, 3, 4 drinks in and you go, oh no, I got to stop. I've had enough. I need some water and I just don't want to drink anymore. When an alcoholic gets that feeling, we go, pedal to the metal, baby. Bring me the bottle.
Exactly.
I was going to say, I've never felt that feeling.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Those first few just kind of jet fuel the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 9th one, you're finally feeling good.
Yep, I'm ready to go.
But if people ask you, they have a reason for asking too.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Right. No, that's important to know.
Yeah.
But no, wait a minute. To be fair, it might be for a spouse or a friend or a child. It's not always.
Yeah.
I have this friend. Okay. We're going to take our break and we come back. What's Greg's like now? He's 33 and he looks great and he's sober for almost 2.5 years here. What's life like for a recovering alcoholic who's loving life? That's next, live here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC, powered by webcast1live.com.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
If you choose to obey the power of sin, it leads to death. If you choose to obey obedience, it leads to righteousness.
Forgiveness is just the beginning of life in Christ. God wants us to live for Him now.
And because of Jesus Christ, the gospel was preached, and you and I are blessed today because of Abraham. Did you know that? We're blessed.
Experience Truth, 99.3 FM.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 10 before the top Salem Radio Network news at 4 o'clock, and then Pastor Michael Mudloff with True Blue from Westkirk Presbyterian Church. Now I'm gonna categorize your life the way I've heard it, and I don't mean to be offensive, okay? But we're talking about a athlete, successful, good family, parents that care, very educated to the point where you were in grad school. Didn't always felt like you fit in, and alcohol helped you to fit in. And when you grabbed alcohol, you rode it like a bucking bull, and you didn't stop until most evenings were filled with embarrassment or activities that you never would do when you're sober, multiple altercations with the law, finally ending up with either close to death or maybe dying, and then being brought back.
Yes.
Okay. What's your life like now?
Oh boy, it's a 180 from that. It's great. I have a full-time job. I'm accountable. I enjoy my job today. I used to despise it or hate it, but today I work for my dad and his construction company, and he lets me manage it, and we get along well. We don't butt heads as often. And if we do, I can make it right. I don't have to go out and be angry forever.
You've been given the tools to know how to do that.
The tools, yes. I believe I have a solid program of recovery. I trust God. I help others, and I keep my own house in order.
And you know that when those things don't happen, you know how to figure it out.
Exactly.
You have the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to think out there that if all of a sudden you get sober, life becomes this bowl of cherries and nothing ever goes wrong again. Mm-hmm. Because as we like to say, life happens on life's terms. Mm-hmm. But we now have the tools to deal with it. Those people out there who are not alcoholics, who don't deal very well with life's terms, probably ought to try a 12-step program and put it around anger, right? Mm-hmm. Or insecurity, or I'm too fat, or I'm too thin. Because the facts of the matter is a 12-step program, it just, as you just said, gives us the tools in life to know what to do with them.
Yep.
Now, talk to me a little bit for a couple minutes about the aftercare program that you do at Powell.
It's been going on for over 30 years. And when somebody finishes when someone finishes treatment, then they go to continuing care, and that's an 8-week program. And
Is that a daily program?
No, it's just once a week.
Okay.
And we're changing that right now, so they'll stay with their regular, whoever their counselor was, they'll stay with them and do that next 8 weeks. And then after that, we offer aftercare, and we have aftercare groups every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have them both at Methodist West and at Lutheran. And it's a peer-led group, and you just come in and talk about your week, and you get feedback, which is different than going to a meeting.
Yeah, in most 12-step meetings, there is no interaction. You say what you want to say, and nobody gets to say, oh, you're full of it, or I think I could help you with that, or even congratulations, great job.
And we don't give advice. Everyone in the groups are taught how to give proper feedback, which you can take those skills and take them to real life.
I bet you think I need those skills, don't you?
Certainly. Sometimes.
Based on a conversation we were having earlier. What are some of the misnomers that people are afraid of or in fear of or prejudgment of that don't really exist in a good quality, successful, healthy recovery program?
Well, last week I had my 28-year sobriety.
Congratulations.
And I announced it, and I've had people say, I want what you have, but they think you jump from A to B overnight and then everything's okay. And when I didn't get mad, but at a meeting I was at, I just said, if you want what I have, you have to do what I did. And there's work in there.
Yeah.
And it's hard work. I mean, I went to therapists, I went to growth groups, I went to meetings, I had sponsors. I worked really, really hard to get what I didn't know I wanted. And at some point you have to, that surrender is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Surrender and then give the reins to somebody else for a while. Somebody that you trust that is going to lead you in the right direction, because it's a whole new life that that's different than the way you thought before.
I remember at some point, I don't know, 3-4 months, and Greg, chime in on this, I'd hear about these normies and what these normies could do. And that really made me mad. In fact, I spouted off at a few meetings when I first got sober because I realized that I was the normal one. I was the guy who was recognizing I had a problem, and I was willing to turn myself inside out to fix that. I still don't know if I agree with the term normies, but I don't think that people who have never had to go through recovery really see us as the asset and the person that has done what you're not willing to do, done what most people aren't willing to do to unearth those things that make us crazy and make us so difficult as fathers or sons or wives or husbands. Or
That's why it's good to have like aftercare groups or 12-step meetings, because the people there totally understand each other. If you don't have alcoholism, it is very hard to understand what someone's going through, even though you're watching it.
Yeah.
It's like somebody with cancer. It's like I have feelings for that, but I don't know what it feels like.
Yeah. My wife and I love her dearly, but she has no idea.
Yeah.
She just wants me sober, and we don't need to talk about it, and we don't need to discuss it. And she doesn't need to go to any meetings or hear me read the big book or anything. She's just glad because she's got her man back.
Yeah.
No, she's got the guy she married back. So, well, listen, Greg, thank you. You made a difference in somebody's life today.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll hear it, maybe we won't. God knows it. And he took something, and this isn't a religious program or anything like that, but I'm just convinced that when you say some of the things you say, they're not only spirit-led, but they land on the ears that needed to hear that spirit-led.
I needed to hear it because I've got somebody I'm going to direct his way.
Okay, see? There you go.
Yeah.
Bob, did you get anything out of it?
I always do.
Yeah, all right. I'd ask you what, but I don't want to. Brian, thank you. Great job today. Tomorrow, Tom Coates, Craig Robinson. The political landscape is just unbelievable right now here in Iowa with Harkin gone and Latham gone, and the bees are scrambling. Who's going to rise to the top? Who's going to get those nominations, and who do you want to see as your next senator and congressman? That'll be with Tom Coates tomorrow in Mac's World. Until then, just do me one favor. Just be thankful for what you have and give more than you take. And remember that service to others is the greatest gift that you can give to yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow, live here on The View from a Pew, powered by webcast1live.com.